Now, WWE on Friday finally took some steps to correct the situation with its women's titles. They presented Asuka with a new championship belt on a white strap, follows the same exact design as the new belt they presented to Roman Reigns. This was a necessary shift away from the red and the blue belts with the Raw and the Smackdown designation because it makes no sense to have the Raw women's title on Smackdown and the Smackdown women's title on Raw. All that does is create confusion, and it creates the need for belt swaps, which is not what we need. That's the last thing we need. They've done those belt swaps before. Not just with the women's belts, by the way. They've done them with the tag team titles before. I think they did a belt swap once with, I think, the Usos and the New Day. That's the next change they need to make. Create one set of WWE tag team titles that float across brands without the Raw and the Smackdown designation. So no more blue belts and no more red belts. And I would also expect that Rhea Ripley is going to be getting a new belt of her own as early as tomorrow night in the same design of the new World Heavyweight title that Seth Rollins has, only with a white strap instead. So what they would be doing essentially is sticking to the same name and the look that the top men's titles have on each brand, which is why Asuka's title is now being referred to as the WWE Women's Championship. There's just one little problem. On the belt itself, which you can already pre-order for $500 on WWE Shop, before that show was even over on Friday night, they had this fucking belt up on WWE Shop. They were quick to the draw with that. On the belt, if you look at it, it says Undisputed Women's Champion. Like Roman Reigns is the Undisputed Champion. Neither of them are undisputed champions of anything because they have world titles on the other brand. That in and of itself makes them disputed. But WWE likes the undisputed branding, so they're sticking with it, and they even put them on the actual belts. Fightful had a report that said there's frustration even from people within the company about the misuse of the term undisputed. One higher up in the company told them that admittedly it is confusing and they don't know why there's an insistence on doing that. A lot of people have brought it up internally and their concerns have been dismissed. Of course it's been dismissed, they don't care. But it's nice to know there are people in the company who recognize how stupid this all is. Unfortunately, they're not the people who make the decisions. But per WWE.com, the new women's title on SmackDown is going to follow the lineage of the Raw Women's Championship instead of starting a brand new lineage, which I think is what they're doing with Seth's belt on Raw. At least based on WWE.com and the way they have it right now, it looks like that's the lineage it'll be following. Adam Pearce had not even finished velcroing the new title around Asuka's waist before Charlotte Flair interrupted. Right on cue, her spidey senses were tingling. She could feel a new championship was about to debut, and she beamed herself to the building to cash in her Charlotte in the Bank. Because they're creatively incapable of booking Charlotte Flair in anything other than a championship program. She lost her title to Ronda Rousey last year. She left for 8 months. Her first night back, she cashed in and she won the championship back. She loses her title to Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. She leaves. She comes back 2 months later and she cashes in again. Only this time she's getting her championship match on SmackDown in London the night before Money in the Bank. And I want you to think about this. WWE has been hosting qualifying matches for both Money in the Bank matches now for weeks. And there's more to come this week. While at the same time, Charlotte returns, and on her first night back, she's gifted a title match. So you're going to have all these geeks breaking their necks in ladder matches in a few weeks, trying to pull down a briefcase. She just walks back in and gets a title shot. This is why I laugh whenever I read that Charlotte should win Money in the Bank one of these years, because it's the one thing that she's never done. She's headlined WrestleMania, she's won the Royal Rumble, 14-time women's champion, women's tag team champion, but she's never won Money in the Bank. She doesn't need to. Like the president always has the nuclear football with him. Charlotte never leaves home without her own briefcase. She never knows when she might need to cash in. What the hell does she need to win Money in the Bank for? She won Money in the Bank the minute she signed her contract. Adam Pearce told her, you have to get in line. Is he new here? Is he new to this company? Charlotte told him, I don't have to wait in line. I made the line. She told Asuka, look, nobody respects you more than I do, but I want that championship, so I'm challenging you for the title. And Asuka accepted. Now, this is a problem because Adam Pearce earlier in the show had already promised Bianca Belair first dibs at the new title if she agreed to just stay in the back, don't interrupt the presentation ceremony. Bianca agreed not to. And then Charlotte was granted a title match, and Bianca was not happy. She also went on Twitter yesterday and she said this. Been processing what went down last night, so let me get this straight. I did exactly what was asked of me. I agreed to let Asuka have her moment as long as I got my rematch, just for Charlotte to come out, demand, and get handed a rematch. Am I tripping or am I tripping? Oh, you're not tripping. So they're turning it into a storyline now. That Charlotte just comes back and gets what she wants. I don't expect her to beat Asuka for the belt. I know there are some people, though it's inevitable, she's going to beat Asuka for the belt. Yeah, maybe she will. I don't think she is. It would be the WWE thing to do, but I think Asuka retains. I think Bianca gets involved in some way. Charlotte loses. And one of two things are going to end up happening. Either we're going to end up with a triple threat with all three of them at SummerSlam, or Bianca is going to cost Charlotte, which leads us down the road of Charlotte against Bianca, not for the title, going into SummerSlam, while Io Sky wins the Money in the Bank briefcase and challenges Asuka for the championship at SummerSlam, and we get 2 matches out of it instead of 1. Charlotte and Bianca, they don't need a title right now. You have 2 people in Bianca Belair, who's coming off a 400-plus day run as the Raw Women's Champion. She does not need to be back in the title picture so soon. You have Charlotte Flair, who also does not need to be within 50 feet of any title in that company. Let them fight it out on their own. Whoever comes out of it, they'll likely end up as the champion anyway. And they could still build to Charlotte against Bianca for the belt at WrestleMania next year. I figured they were going to hold off until then to do the match. Now, with this story that's developing, I don't see how that's going to be possible. But they could still build to a WrestleMania 40 match and Bianca chasing after Charlotte. If they go the triple threat route for SummerSlam, maybe Charlotte wins the title, and then let's say Io, if she were to win Money in the Bank this year, she immediately cashes in and she beats Charlotte for the belt. People would go nuts for that. My logic is, why not get 2 big women's matches out of it on that SummerSlam show, plus a third one with whoever Rhea is going to defend against? So we'll see what happens. It depends who wins the Money in the Bank briefcase. Bayley is in there as well, not just Io. Could Bayley kind of push Io off the ladder and steal what would be an Io Sky win, and Bayley gets the briefcase? Of course, that's possible. Maybe we get Bayley and Io at SummerSlam and they don't rush into Io and Asuka. I would just think it would be a waste to not get Asuka and Io. So I would like to see them do the match before they miss the opportunity to get it done.